let's get started. Again, my name is Evelyn Knight, and I am the Childcare Business Coach, the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast. I own Childcare Business Professionals, where we help owners and directors learn how to manage successful childcare businesses. So today we are going to be talking about staying productive during a crisis. And as you can see, if you're on my live video, I am multitasking again today. I'm recording my podcast at the same time as I am going live. So I figured I might as well get this content out in both platforms for my podcast audience and for my Facebook audience. So I hope everybody is having a great day so far. I hope the week isn't too stressful. I will admit yesterday was pretty rough for me. It was one of those days where I really had to practice what I preach and keep focusing on the positive. It was just one of those days where, just one thing after another, and it was rough. But you just got to shake it off and keep going no matter how things are right now. So as you pop in, say hi in the chat so I know you're there. I love the interaction. It kind of gets lonely on this side, and I know sometimes for some reason it doesn't pop up on my end. So if you are, and if you have a question or anything, make sure you put it in there. I will answer later. I do try to answer live, but if I don't see your question for some reason, I will go back and answer. I'll type out the answers. And also, again, Friday's session is going to be a question and answer. So feel free to message me your questions or put them in the chat. I don't mind whichever. And we're going to go over questions and answers on Friday. Thursday, Christine, my business advisor, my financial advisor, will be on. And she'll be answering your questions and going over some things on how we can be more financially sustainable through this time. So I hope that will be really helpful. I'm really, really excited about that. And she's got an exciting offer for you guys. So I can't wait to bring that to you guys. So today, staying productive through the crisis. And you guys, I'm glancing over at my other computer monitor here. That way I can just kind of stay focused on my notes today. But one of the things yesterday really popped out to me is one of the things that really helps us to stay focused is if we really focus on our blessings, what is good around us. And right now that is so hard, isn't it? It's really, really difficult for us to see the positive that's happening around us, to feel the goodness, and to let it sink in is just kind of hard right now. So try and focus on that. Try and just look around you and find the blessings. There's always blessings, right? Right now it's hard to see it. It's hard to feel it. When we're struggling with our businesses, when everything is so uncertain, it's just so hard to see and focus on those blessings. So just work to try and find those right now. It really is important just to try and be positive right now. So even if it's not at your center, maybe focus on your staff that is showing up and they are doing a good job. The families that have decided to pay you even if they're not bringing their children. When you're at home, is your family well? There's so many blessings. Are your children well? There's other people's children who aren't well right now. So really look at the things in your life that are good, because we do have plenty of good in our lives. It's just right now, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the negativity and in how overwhelming and big things feel. Earlier this morning, I was on Facebook and reading some posts, and people are asking, how long do you think this is going to last? And just the lack of hope and uncertainty, just it breaks my heart to read that in the comments and on the posts. And I just, we can focus on the positive, you guys. No matter what, there's always something good in our life. Look at your family, your friends, even your pets, right? My dogs are huge for me. So that's even something, my cat, I love my dog. And so even if it's just your pets, they love you unconditionally. That's something that's positive. So just look around you intentionally and you will find something to feel blessed about. So that's something. The other thing too is celebrate your wins. I was chatting online with another owner yesterday, and she messaged me a screenshot about something a parent had said, posted actually on Facebook about her center. And she just said that she doesn't even know how to feel right now. She was just so floored by how positive it was. And I think that really hit me because I get in the same boat where when you have those wins, and even if it's a small win, like a parent deciding that they're going to pay you without arguing, that is a win, right? And it's make sure that you take time to celebrate those. It almost feels weird right now to celebrate the wins. It almost feels out of place, or just not right for us to celebrate right now. It's just weird. It's a weird feeling, right? But we need to celebrate them. We need to acknowledge our wins. We need to really just be happy about them. It's okay right now to celebrate those little wins. So if yesterday was Monday, a lot of us were doing our books, right, or trying to charge tuition. If you're closed and you've got parents that are still paying celebrate that. Celebrate every little thing you can, whatever it is. Just make sure you're taking time to celebrate the wins, no matter how awkward it feels right now. That is really, really important for us, just to be able to make it through this, and with our mental health in check. And on the topic of being productive, that is something that will help us to be productive. If the better we're feeling and the better that we have a handle on things, the more productive it will help us to feel. So that will help us to stay focused, which is my next topic. Right now, it is really easy to let distractions just come in and overwhelm us. There's so many things out there distracting us. And so I would really just recommend make a list of those distractions. And right now, I'm sure the biggest ones are the news and social media. Those seem to be the things that distract us the most right now. Those are the things that really have us just engrossed. And before you know it, you have just spent hours on social media, right? So when you open up your Facebook or your Instagram, whatever it is, even if you're on TikTok just to release some steam, put a timer on. Time yourself. Make sure you're not wasting a lot of time, especially in the negativity. I know I've told you guys I can be a news junkie. I can turn the news on and leave it on for hours. And that's something we really just want to avoid right now, is just letting ourselves become obsessed with that negativity, because it will drain us right now. So focus on putting timers on, anything we need to do in order to really manage that overwhelm, right? And also just to be productive and get things done. The next thing, if your center is closed, now is a great time to work on all those projects that you've been wanting to get done but never have time to do. If you're able to go to your center and get some work done, now is a fantastic time to do some maintenance, like painting, deep cleaning, rearranging classrooms, really doing an inventory of your supplies. Especially in the classrooms, what does your dramatic play look like? Do you have enough? If you've got the Itters and Eckers books, those are fantastic resources right now to just go through, especially if you are in a STARS program, QRIS, or going through accreditation. Now is a great time to make sure that your classrooms are fully stocked if you're, by yourself. And I know if you're closed, it's probably because everything's quarantined, but if you're alone and you can work through, or even just with one other teacher or something where you're keeping your social distance, but you're able to really just take stock of what each classroom has. How does it look? Can you really just work in that room? That is something that's really great to do right now. How are your parent handbooks? How are your employee handbooks? Work on them. How many years has it been since you updated them? That's something in our membership I'm going to focus on is like, let's get working on those handbooks. If you're still open, that's a little bit more difficult to do because right now, I know for me in my center, I have so much being thrown at me right now, and every day is different. And every day it's a new like obstacle that we have to invent, which I am taking advantage of that though. I'm taking the opportunity to create new policies constantly, right? And if you're one of my members, that's something I'm sharing with you guys. Every single one I'm sharing with you guys, each and every one of those. So every time I create a policy, I give it to my members because I'm sure we're going through the same things, right? So just really focus on all of that right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking to make sure my everything's working good on my podcast side of things. So just focus on all of that, just what you can. The other thing is get structured. One of the things I noticed this weekend when I gave myself that time to just kind of pull back and think, normally I'm really, really structured right now. And I wake up every morning and I do a daily schedule for myself, right? I teach this concept in my time management training for owners and directors, but I make an annual calendar, and then I make a monthly calendar, and then I make a weekly calendar, and then I make a daily calendar. And I literally start every single one of my days normally in devotion time, and then after my devotion time and my prayer time, I go into planning, and I plan out my days. I look at, my schedule, and that's why I break it down, because I know annually these are all the things that need to get done, and I literally like, and I do train on this, guys, so I'm not going to get too, I have a training on all of this just to help you learn how to really manage your time and be able to fit the most in with the least amount of stress. So I noticed last week, over the weekend, that I haven't been doing my daily schedule. And last week, I didn't even do my weekly schedule. And I just kind of realized that I felt all week last week, I was really chaotic. And that definitely added to the feeling of chaos. I have to have my schedule. I've got it, And so that was something I committed to this week. Like, okay, last week I didn't follow schedule, which right now we need it more than anything. We need those systems we have in place to keep us together more than anything right now, right? And the stress that I was feeling, that is a huge contributor. Right now we need to control what we can, since we have no control over this situation. I can control my time management. I can control my productivity, right? I'm only adding to my stress by not controlling my time management and not being productive. So that was something I recommitted to, that I need to create my schedules every single day again. I need to get on my calendar every night before I go to bed and make sure, I got a good summary of the day. And then every morning, first thing, I need to recommit to that. So that was my, every last week I was just waking up and looking for the first disaster I had to tackle. And that's normally something I do not do. I don't allow myself to open my phone. I don't allow myself to turn on any kind of electronic or anything to the outside world until I'm done with my devotion time and I'm done with my planning. Then I open myself up. And I wasn't doing that last week. The first thing I was doing was looking at my messages, looking at social media, and then listening to the news, which put me in like just I gotta go mode, right? It made basically what's happening from a psychological perspective is it's putting me in fight or flight mode every day. We don't have to be in fight or flight mode every day, guys. That is something we are choosing, and that's something that's so important for you. If you guys are feeling like you're in a frenzy right now, it's because we're choosing to be in fight or flight mode. We just need to make a conscious decision not to allow that right now. We need to take control of our brains, because right now our brains are going to want to divert to the primitive part of ourselves, right? And it's going to want to let, it doesn't want the frontal lobe to take over right now. It wants to go into fight or flight. We cannot allow that. We have to literally step back and take control and tell yourself, I am not going to allow myself to go into fight or flight mode. I am going to create a plan every single day. Okay. So that it's very important to keep a hold of things and to get things done. So getting structured is really important. So what I would recommend doing is create a list of things that need to get done. If your center is closed, make yourself a list of all the things you always want to do, but you never have time to do. Those things that would be so nice to get to, right? But we just don't have the time because we're dealing with everyday life. Then I want you to take that list and I want you to prioritize it. What one of these tasks will create the most value? And right now, I want you to think in terms of selling your center, okay? Because right now, when this is all over, we're going to have some work to do. We're going to have to do some recuperating of our centers, right? So I want you to think of what is going to create the most value in my center that will help me enroll the most children when we reopen. And that's how you're going to prioritize your list, right? And don't underestimate things like having a good employee handbook, having a good parent handbook. All of that structure is really what will up your quality, and quality will keep you full. That was the turning point for me as an owner, you guys, is when I upped my quality. That's when I really, really turned that corner and started going from always scrambling from enrollment to having a wait list. And I'll tell you, as an owner and a director, I was really scared to do that. It's expensive, right? In your mind, you think quality is so expensive, but it is, I cannot even explain to you how worth it is. And it doesn't have to be that expensive. I do teach techniques to make it not so expensive. I've learned how to achieve it when I wasn't, when I wasn't doing great, but it really was the difference. I have been a struggling owner. You guys, I've told you guys that I've almost lost everything at one point. And I've gone to being successful with parents literally trying to bribe their way into my center. I don't know if you guys listen to my podcast, but once upon a time, I had a parent offer me $500 cash to put their child to the top of my wait list. And it really was quality. So focus on what can you do to make your center better? How can you increase your center's quality in order to bring that enrollment back? I read an article yesterday from the NEEYC, and they're estimating that 70% of centers are not going to make it back from this. Do not be one of those 70%, you guys. Focus on your quality right now. That also means that a lot of those parents are not going to have a spot. They're still going to go back to work, but they're not going to have a spot for childcare. So focus on upping your quality, because we're going to have tours after this. It's going to come back. We're going to have tours. So focus on your qualities. Make sure that you're focusing on research-based quality. This isn't quality that you define as quality. This is quality that is research-based and backed by science, okay? So if you don't know what that is, start doing the research now. Look up what NEEYC standards are. Get the ITERS and the Eckers book. And I can actually put those in the comments so you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's the environmental rating scale. Let me see. I probably actually have them here. You know what? Sorry. I'm not going to look right now. I'll find them later and take a picture of them for you guys. But it's there. They should be like your go-to for everything, because that is, I mean, these people do nothing but research what produces the best outcomes from children, and they summarize it in a really easy book for us, right? And these books are like literally like checklists that you can go through. You can use it to see how is your center supplied, how are your policies, what are you doing that's making, so those are the kind of productive things that are going to increase your value that will end up in turn helping your center produce more income. Okay, so that is something we really want to focus on right now, is just that, because we're all going to be hurting after this. No matter how good you are doing, you're going to be hurting. I had a wait list of 200, but this is still going to hurt. So just be, let's see, Melissa says, people are going to be desperate to go back to work. We can use this time. Yes, absolutely. Use this time to rethink your program, make it better. We have the time. I normally have 100 plus children in my center. I usually anywhere from 100 to 115. I had 55 yesterday. So even though we're busy, that still does give us time, right? To do some auditing, to do some different things. So just do not let yourself obsess. Don't freeze. Do not let yourself obsess over the what ifs, the negativity. Be productive. It will also help your mental health. Just find those things. And for my members, that's something we're really going to be working on. So if you're one of my members, I'm going to really start helping you focus on that stuff, focus on higher quality standards that end up producing income. One of the other things, when I upped my quality, I was able to increase my prices by $25 a week per child, you guys. And let me tell you, I live in a low income area. I know the first thing that owners are going to think is, oh, parents are going to pay that. Yeah, I thought that too. That's exactly the kind of mindset I was stuck in, but it is not an accurate mindset. Two big mindset issues that I had that were totally wrong when I was not a successful owner is that quality is too expensive and that parents can't afford to pay for it. Okay? When you up your quality, it comes. I promise. The money follows. So, and not only that, but you're doing what's best for the children. There is one other one. I thought I was really high quality, but I wasn't until I really started being research based. And then I was able to really just, and I can tell you guys, like the way my centers run, my classrooms are just beautifully run. I don't have a lot of the major behavior issues. When you start upping your quality, all of those really tough behavior issues go away. And a lot of the problems, your teachers are happier, you get better employee retention. Quality is just so much easier to manage, right? So not only are you making more money, but suddenly your center is just it's doing better, period. Employees are easier to manage. Everything just kind of falls into place when you prioritize quality. So I cannot stress that enough to you guys. But I think a lot of owners, we just don't know. And I can tell you guys, if your center is following an elementary school model, that is not quality. The way I explain this to people that I'm working with one-on-one is, think of it this way. You would not teach a second, third, or fourth grader the same way you treat a seventh and eighth grader, right? You're not going to have them go from one classroom to another with 6 different teachers a day. That's not something we can do, because we know it's not developmentally appropriate for a third and fourth grader to be taught the same way that we teach 7th and 8th graders. So why on earth in the preschool world do we think it's okay to structure our classrooms like a 2nd and 3rd grade classroom? That makes no sense at all. It is not developmentally appropriate, and it leads to behavior problems. Behavior problems lead to unhappy parents, and unhappy parents make it very hard for you to fill your center. But when you have a really high quality research-based program, parents are fighting to get in because everybody's talking about you. So keep that in mind. If you're running your center like an elementary school, you really need to relook at it. If your kids are sitting at tables all day doing photocopied sheets, you may feel like it's quality, but it's not. And I know that's a harsh reality, but it is. And I had to go through this once upon a time too. I was the owner once who thought, because I was so focused on these other things that are really meaningless to young children, I thought I was doing a good job. And then when I really, really started to do research on it and really just honed in on it, I just realized, this isn't really what they need. We need to, if you go through an NAC accreditation or a STARS program, you'll be able to see that pretty clearly. So JJ Williams, it just came up there. That's all that came up for me. I'm sorry. My for some reason my comments are delayed. Okay, so getting structured, and don't pull back right now. Make sure that you're sending the message that you are still here, that your center is going to survive, and that you're still here. I would even actively encourage enrolling. If you've got spots, why not? Even if you're closed, there's no reason that you can't say, okay, when we reopen, we'll be enrolling for this, this, and this. Make sure the public knows you're still there. Make sure that you still have a presence. Make sure your parents know. Everybody is really scared. The entire nation is looking at small businesses and businesses in general that are going to be shut down. They know that a lot of people aren't coming back from this. Make sure that you're out there. Make sure you're being positive. Make sure you're letting your families know, I'm coming back. And when I do, I'm going to be stronger, better, whatever. If you're going to have spots available that you know of, because maybe some of your parents aren't getting their job back, start, don't be afraid to start enrolling. Don't be afraid to start having those conversations. If you've got a wait list, don't be afraid. Get it going now. Having that presence now is a great opportunity to make sure, even if you guys are just posting things on local social media pages, like, we're encouraging children, parents, just anything that you can right now. Make sure people know you are there, and especially your families. The other thing, if you're closed or if you're open right now is a great time. If you don't have a Facebook group or an Instagram page for your center, get it going now. Do it now and get your families on there. Get that line of communication so that they see you all the time and they know you're not going anywhere. If you're closed and your competitor is open, that's something to really be careful of, right? Because you've got to really ask yourself, will they be back? So make sure that they know. Make sure you build that relationship. And that's something that's really, really important right now, is building relationships. From chatting with a lot of you guys in Messenger, one of the biggest things that I'm noticing and seeing is those of you who are not having a hard time with your parents paying you, and with that consistency, the ones who are not having a hard time have built really good relationships, right? Those of you who are really struggling and parents are arguing with you and you don't have those relationships. So it's time to have a really good heart to heart with yourself and do some reality checks. Like, how do you need to build these relationships? Relationships is what builds loyalty. Relationships is what are going to keep your customers and your staff loyal to you. Two really, really important things to think about right now. Now's a really good time to just analyze your center as a business and figure out, what do I need to do to make it stronger and better? Now's a great time. So don't pull back, you guys, on your advertising, and I'm not saying that you have to advertise in a monetary way. I mean, like, if you went through my enrollment workshop I did, I gave you guys a bunch of free advertising techniques. And if you guys want, I left it. There is a unit still in there, especially for those of you who are home. Do the unit I put together on enrolling. I talk a lot about how to brand your center. It's a lot. Enrollment is huge. I know we think of it as just enrolling children, but if you go through my enrollment unit that I put together for you in the unit section, you'll see there's a lot more to enrollment than just enrolling a child. So that's why I have 5 different sessions on how to enroll children. So go through it again and just look at the things you can do that are free, that you could be getting your center out there right now. Branding right now is a really great opportunity. Making sure that people know that we're here and we're here to stay is a pretty big deal right now. So just really, really watch that. So that's what I have for you guys today. Just stay productive, stay positive, and just really, try to focus on those blessings. I do have some notes for yesterday's session. I have some notes from today's I'll be posting for you guys, so you have it in writing, just the overview of what we've talked about here. And if you guys have any questions again for Friday's session, just let me know. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And again, if you're replaying, feel free to leave me messages. You're welcome, Melissa. Thank you. Bye, guys.